Hey everybody. So, I was debating making this video. I wasn't sure if I was going to. Um, but as an American citizen, as someone who lives in the United States, all my stuff's here, you know. Um, I thought that, I probably could chime in on this, even though that's not really the topic of my channel. I try not to be a political channel. But, what happened recently with some asshole, let's be honest, uh, deciding to take a shot at a presidential candidate, yeah, that's messed up, man. That ain't right. And the people who constantly claim to be on the right side of history, for some reason, are siding with this guy. Look. I don't like Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. He's not my candidate. He's not my president. However you want to say it. I am a lifelong liberal. Yes, my more liberal stances have been tempered with time. I'm becoming more and more, I don't want to say right-leaning, but I'm definitely becoming more moderate as I get older. That and just a lot of the hot takes that I used to have back whenever I was a younger man, they're not really hot takes anymore, Back 20 years ago, me being pro-gay marriage was a huge deal. And now, gay marriage is just normalized. It's not a huge deal anymore, But also just the fact that, hey, this isn't how liberals are supposed to be, Like, most liberals, and you know the ones I'm talking about, specifically the younger guys. And, I'm not making fun. I was the same way when I was their age. They all have that kind of arrogance to them, that attitude of, being the smartest guy in the room kind of a thing, Like, we're all a little narcissistic when we're young, And the take or the stance with liberals has always been, this something that always kind of set me apart from the liberals was, when it came time for fisticuffs, they usually had the attitude of, oh, well, I'm not violent. I'm a non-violent person. Because traditionally, liberals are non-violent. We don't solve our problems with violence. I was always a little more violent because I grew up violent, but, nothing beyond getting into a fight, like, never anything like this. This is nuts. This is ridiculous. And, it just, there's a lot of this drama going on now where you got a lot of people on the left, like Destiny, the streamer, YouTuber guy, who's not only taking a pro-gunman stance, and he's also making fun of and saying he doesn't give a crap about, like, the person who did die at the rally. Like, the person of value who died. 2 people died at the rally, but, one was a scumbag shooter that nobody should really even care about. And the other was a fireman. And, this video isn't about Destiny. I don't care about that person. But it is upsetting that I'm seeing so many people echoing that sentiment. That I'm seeing so many people. Hell, a friend of mine, a guy I know, the day it happened, minutes after we heard about it, made a joke. Just an inch or 2 off. Like, what? Like, and what really grinds my gears about the whole thing is these same people are the people who were so upset about January 6th. They were so upset about January 6th. It was the worst thing to ever happen to democracy because they cared so much about democracy. Now, if you're an American citizen, if you were born here or you legally became a citizen here, one, congrats, greatest country on earth, go America. And two, then you know a thing or two about democracy, and you understand that Americans, man, we're nuts for that shit. We love democracy. Democracy's our bread and butter. We act like we invented it. I mean, we didn't, but boy, we like to think we did. So it always, it's irritating to see these people who claim to care so much about democracy when you bring up January 6th, now siding with some asshole. Again, he was. I don't care. Siding with this guy who wanted to take away the power of choice from half the country, because that's what it really was all about. It was about removing a presidential candidate that he didn't like from the ticket. And that is anti-democracy. That's anti-democracy. You can't claim to be pro-democracy and then be for the sabotaging of democracy. Like, to remove the guy from the ticket, despite the fact that people voted for him and want him on the ticket, is anti-democracy, And again, this isn't how liberals are. This isn't how we behave. This isn't how we view things. We're not the, I make change with a bullet type of idiots. We vote. We make change through, getting into the systems and changing them from within. We do it smartly. We don't just try to change things, because when you try to change things with a bullet, when you try to change things with a bomb, when you try to change things with violence, well, congratulations, you have crossed the line from being a activist to being a terrorist. Because that's the real difference between an activist and a terrorist, is one uses, legal means. One goes in and tries to change the system legally through, peaceful protest and things of that nature. And the other tries changing things with, terror and bombs and guns. And no, it's messed up. This whole situation, I feel, has really hurt, the left stance. It really made leftists, the extreme ones especially, look unhinged, violent, and just, frankly, people who, they should be taken serious from, a legal standpoint, but probably not so much when they're given their opinions, because clearly they're not looking at things from the angle of, a sane person. Because sane people don't think like that. Sane people don't, think that it's okay that an innocent person got killed just because he votes different than you. I mean, if you're fine with that fireman getting killed because he was going to vote differently than you, then, one, straight up, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. But two, also, you're just kind of a scummy person, I'm sure you would be disgusted if something bad happened to one of your friends, because somebody on the political right decided that he deserved to die for voting differently than him. I just feel if you're okay with something like that, if you're okay with a presidential candidate getting shot at, if you're okay with somebody dying because they vote differently than you, Forget about touching grass. You need to take off your clothes and roll around in it. You know? Like, this is. When I make videos, usually I'm talking about things like camping and stuff like that. Go camping, man. Unplug. Get away from the internet. You've obviously been on it too long. You know? Like, get your head straight, because that's not how sane, rational people think. You know? Sane, rational people don't think that it's okay for someone to die just because they vote differently than him. You know, that's gross. That's disgusting. Oh, and then there's the whole violence angle. Like, all of these people, again, this really hurt the position of the leftists. Now, every time a leftist tries to say they're pro-democracy, people are going to be able to throw it back in their face and be like, but you're fine with someone, murdering a candidate you don't like to get them off the ticket. That's not very democratic. Or if they say that they're, they care about the preservation of life, they care about people getting hurt or killed, like the pro-Palestine protesters, clearly not that much, because you were fine with, somebody trying to assassinate a presidential candidate, and you were fine with, a fireman getting killed while just trying to protect his family. Like, clearly you don't care that much about life. Anyway, that's just kind of my stance on things. I know that's probably going to upset some people, but, unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is, man. Like, you don't get to pretend to care about those things and then cheer when somebody does something that directly opposes those things that you just claim to care about. That makes you look like either a hypocrite or someone who's just too stupid to know you're being a hypocrite. Anyway, that's all I've got. I'm sure that's going to make some people upset. Again, I'm sorry if it makes you feel some sort of way, but I don't regret what I said. Till next time, you're you, I'm me. Keep it brutal.